Hey, what's going on, guys? So we have a awesome video today. It's going to be me playing Rek'sai versus my buddy who's playing Rengar. I don't really play Rek'sai, and my buddy doesn't really play Rengar. So today we are just testing it out. This is still just before the release of Vendetta, so I'm going to be casting it, and we will take a look and we will get into the gameplay. As you guys saw, I did lose the die roll. And we have started out with Hall of Legends, and my friend has started out with Seat of Power for their battlefield, and we are just getting the mulligans underway. I believe in my hand I kept a Blood Rush and a Daring Poro, I believe, just because I know I'm going second, and if he starts out with his 2-drop, the Carrot Man or Irresistible Fey Folk, I at least have the ability to potentially trade into it or remove it in the subsequent turns, but we will see. Looks like we're getting underway as he starts with the channeling, and he does start with the Fey Folk. It has been a little bit of time since I've watched this, so I don't exactly remember when or how the game fully played out. So he did start with the Fey Folk, and I do have a Poro, so instead of me just playing Call of the Week, I did just decide to play the Poro, giving the trade of whatever unit he does decide to play. In my mind, I'm thinking of Grim Apothecary, or I'm also thinking of Nidalee are the main things that he could drop on me just with all of this. I highly doubt he's going to have an Inferna, because that would just trade still the Poro, but with the Blood Rush, I would get Assault 2, so I'm swinging with 5, which would trade everything, but I don't think he expected that. So he does go in, and he's going to move my Poro in. I do have Assault. He is the attacker, so he does play the Nidalee, and he does buff it to 5. Now, since I'm Assault, and I do have the 1 up, I do think I opt to trade the Nidalee by tapping the 1. This is why I didn't play the Rek'sai to start with, just because I knew the Fey Folk would happen. So I do go to the Blood Rush to give it +1. Now with his 1 mana, he can either punch first, which would be an awful trade, so he just elects to let it go. I do lose the Poro. He does gain the point. I don't think that you ever punch first in that setting or scenario. It would just put him, to 3 runes next turn, which you can almost play no units. I think with Rengar, you can be a little aggressive. And here you can see he recycles 1 for hidden. Now in the deck, it most likely is Pike, which is why I played around having some kind of idea that it would be. So I had to plan out my next turns. I could go for the Call of the Week here. However, I think I opt to develop the board a little bit more. Oh, I do go for the Call of the Week to force him to play the Pike, I believe. Yeah, to force him to play the Pike. I don't know if that was correct, just because he would have, only been at 3 points instead of, instead of just what he's at anyway. He would have been at 3 no matter what. So I think that regardless, it didn't really matter playing the Call of the Week that early. Probably should have not and done it on a better turn. So he's going to bring him back to base, and then he develops a Rek'sa and passes. This would have been a better, because if I didn't play Call of the Week, he most likely ganks the Pike over, and then I have a better clear into the board. But yeah, had to remove the Carrot Man, because now I don't play anything, I'm pretty sure, just because I know that Rek'sa eats every unit I have in my hand, because I have all of the Dredgen Carriers, I believe, the guy that makes a Deflect Bird, stuck in my hand. So it's just not a strong hand at all, actually, after I mulligan. But I do know that I have to get my Rek'sai Legend going. So just looks like I just decided to play 2 units and pass. Having none of my bigger units in my hand, like a Noxus Hopeful or the Noxian, it's not a Noxian Drummer, it's the Faithful Manufactor. Not having those is kind of tough at the moment. We did take this list from just anywhere. It was one of I think it was the best performing Rek'sai that happened when at not Utrecht, but Hartford, and that's kind of just the list that we just developed to play with and test. So I think that it's a little bit more aggressive and a little bit more low to the ground than most. The Rengar units just get so huge if they can stick, and it looks like they're being able to stick all the time. So here it just looks like we are talking about how Hall of Legends triggers with Rek'sai, just because I need to know for next turn of how it's going to work. So they both go on the stack, and you pay. You tap your legend, your Rek'sai resolves first, and it untaps, basically, is what we talk about here, just because my friend is very knowledgeable on rules. Basically, a judge if he actually decided to take the exams to get to level 2. So he's basically just explaining like how the action would look and where it goes in the stack, so that it's really relevant there, and so that I don't make any misplays when I go in, just because I said I don't play a lot of Rek'sai, and it's very important to know these game interactions, especially when you're playing the game. So I think he is debating on sabotage. Yeah, so he does sabotage me just to see a Carrion Dredger, and you can't see his facial expression, but it was pretty much oh, that's pretty bad. So yeah, gave me the thumbs up. He knows that my hand is just completely dead, so he almost gets to just like run away with most of the game just going forward, because I have to now bank on me being able to clear his whole board. He has enough for Rengar. He has 3 other cards in his hand. I just have 2 Carrion Dredgers. So it's time to play off the top of my deck like Rek'sai does, and I believe I'm going to send the Carrion Dredger. No, it's going to be the Poro, I believe. Well, I top decked the, and I dropped it. Top decking the Noxie, and the one that gets Accelerate was not a good draw. I also am not the best Rek'sai player, so if you're noticing game mistakes or anything like that, let me know. I think I send the Dredger in as well, because then I have 4 Might. So if he plays, even if he played in Italy, I still die here. So I'm not really too sure why I sent the Dredger in with it. Because I think I wanted to maybe like accelerate the bird token, was where my brain was going, was that route. And we don't have any tokens with us, so you'll notice we're going to use dry erase markers for when we make some tokens, just because we just didn't pull them out. I don't know why. So here we're just writing bird. And then what? Yeah, I think my brain went to, we should just play we should just pay deflect, or not the deflect. We should just pay 1 to accelerate the bird token. I don't know why my head went that route, but it did. So off the top of the deck, we get Hopeful and Falling Star. Now, if I had played any of my 2-drops in my hand beforehand, the Hopeful would have cost 2. However, ultimately, I believe that both of those hits were okay. I think I just decided to go for the Falling Star, even though I know he has 5 mana, so he could have just easily played Rengar onto my Poro, or he could have played Thrill of the Hunt. And this is where I'm now debating on what I decide to go with. Both options are completely awful for me. I needed to hit like a Call of the Week or something to deal with the Rek'sa, and I think I just decided to go with that. I don't know why he played Rengar there, but he played Rengar there, so I can't just easily go in because now he's a 7. And the only way I can go in and trade it, which I still think I should have, because, Rek'sai's a 4, Carrion Dredger for 3 and an Accelerate. It's 5. But I had to trade my entire board to do it. Sounds actually awful. So I probably should have went with the bird like I was thinking. And I shouldn't have actually played the Accelerate unit this turn, just because I remember what happens next turn. should have kept him in my hand and played the other Dredger, because I can accelerate him for 3, which is fine. Whereas the Dredgers I can't. And having 1 extra might did kind of matter this next kind of turn, next kind of sequence. Because I believe he plays Rek'sa accelerated, if I do remember. I'll just wait to see. And then, yeah, he's just at such a astronomical advantage. I think right now it's 5-1. Kind of got a little slapped. Didn't really have enough gas going second. So my hands were just triple Dredger for some reason. Oh, he's giving him the buff off the Rengar trigger. Darius. Yep. Just as bad as Rek'sa, technically. Swings in with plus 3. He gets a cleave just for playing himself, basically. So the list does have big units, way bigger than mine. It's very hard to even stay on a battlefield, and I think he's just debating to hide. Yeah, it looks like he's going to hide a card by recycling. Yeah, it just looks like he ran away with the advantage that he gained very early on, and just really made it almost impossible for me to fight over these battlefields. I think it comes back to when I played Call the Week, instead of just trying to force out other interactions. So here I draw a cleave, and I really think that if I had played the Dredger this turn, I could have had, not saying I could have won, but I could have had a chance to claw it back. Because I do have a way to kill this Darius, I think. And if I had, because it's 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 8 might on the battlefield right now, or at my base. With cleave is another 3. So, roughly, I'm thinking of how I can trade into Pike plus crash my units. So I think I go, what is this? 2, 3, 4. I drew Inferna, not a cleave. I was completely mistaken. It was red and looked low costing. So I swing in with 4, swinging with 7. He's just gonna kill Inferna and leave the Dredger and the bird, which was bad for me, and I get another hit. So I get Void Rush, which is probably the only playable card right now. So of course I take it, and I'm gonna recycle. And I wonder if it was, yes, the double Under Titan. And so I get the 4 mana, but I think I only give myself 2. Oh no, I did give myself 4. So I think I decided to play 1, reducing its cost by 2, and then I take the other one. So my Rek'sai is now, +4. Or no, sorry, it's not. I haven't played anything yet. So I think it's +2, and I could have accelerated it. Which now we're just determining how, because I'm still going to cost 2 power because I'm accelerating it, so it's going to cost me another 1. So instead of 6 and 2 power, it's going to cost me 5 and 2 power. So 4, 5, 6, yeah. 1 floating. There we go. So I have two energy left, and my Under Titan they all have the accelerate. So now I believe I'm gonna slam the Under Titan just deep in and just go. Yeah. So I'm gonna swing in with 3 + 2 for the Under Titan, which is 5, 6 on assault, and then the Under Titan's smite I believe is 5. And so we're swinging in with 11, and he's gonna flip up his hidden card I believe here, which is Pike. And he does pay it. So because he flips up Pike and he makes his Rengar a 7, and he pays the extra 2 for Pike to be at 4, he is also at 11, so we just trade the entire battlefield, which I needed the unit. Yeah, and now you can see here that if I had played the accelerate guy, kept it in my hand and played the Dredger last turn, I would have been down 2 might, but, I wouldn't have known I was going to hit all these top decks. And it's a game of like what's ifs and buts and stuff like that. And I believe he's going to drop a Nidalee on me with this little guy. I just don't really get a lot of Rek'sai triggers off, basically, and I run out of hand very quickly. Yeah, there's the Nidalee. And I only have 3 might. So it was pretty bad. I shouldn't have just put my whole base there. I do get 2 deflect bird tokens. As you see, we're going to now write and draw another one. And I believe that this next part of the game is where I draw Cleave. And that's why I brought it up earlier, was because there was a turn where I draw Cleave, and we all know I have Under Titan in my hand. So, yeah, we just basically, left it up to chance, and I basically do lose the game. You can really see it here. Like I said, if I needed a chance, and we did not put ourselves in the ability to get a chance. So here I'm just messing around with the runes, trying to make sure that I have them all right. My OCD kicking in, and here's me going, card flip, card flick. What do we do? 2 cards in hand. What happens sometimes. And I'm just like, All right, so we slam the Under Titan, giving them +2. Oh no, I never draw Cleave. I forgot that Under Titan gave me +2. So these guys are each at 3 might. And I'm like, well, let's send it in. And now I'm like, wait, hold on, I'm thinking. I'm like, no, we're going to send in the 6 might and pass, see what happens. And you thrill. And I did have a Cleave. Oh, that's what happened, is I didn't play Cleave. I could have just sent one over, played Cleave, I still die. Which is the problem, because he still throw the hunts onto me when I go into battle. So it's pretty tough. He just draws a card because he can't conquer, and I can't play anything. Oh, look. What a needed card. Call the week. And show him the Cleave, and that's the game. I scoop it up, and he just shows me his hand. It's pretty good. So head off to game 2. So now we're into game 2. I am going to be going first because I got absolutely smoked. I just am not sure what to fully side in. For some reason, there's 3 of the Forge of the... triple Forge in that deck, or in the sideboard, so I'm just looking at it because it's the first time I've seen it. Like I said, it's the first time really playing the deck. I took out 1 Under Titan because I bricked on it, I guess. I don't actually know how Rek'sai bricks or Rek'sai really plays. So just really trying to figure out what is important and what isn't. So I'm kind of just trying to find a way to fit in the more removal cards that are part of it. So they have Hextech Ray and some other things. I took out 1 Falling Star because there was 3 of it in the deck. I just took out 1 to get a little bit more in, and yeah, so triple there, and I just took out an Under Titan and something else so that I can fit the extra removal side into it, because I just felt if I can remove some of his units quick enough, then it won't matter as much. And then I also remove a Dredger because I bricked on this guy so often, but then I'm like, wait, I can't really remove my 2 drops because I'm going first on Arena's Greatest, and Rengar can just undercut you and really get under you quick enough if you can't score or stay on the battlefield or develop enough. So I just decided to keep those in, and I'm just kind of going through and figuring out what is worth keeping and what is not worth keeping. The sideboard is kind of where I was thinking of the red removal, which is why I did put into Hextech Rays. I did take out a Falling Star because it was at 3, and I did find that I couldn't really see them as much as possible. He doesn't have a lot of large units, so I was thinking that 1 Hextech Ray to kill the 1 unit that's at the battlefield, and then maybe being able to hold with the unit I have plus a Hextech Ray would be enough to catch him off guard. However, the not really knowing fully what the deck's trying to do, like I said, this is the actual first time playing Rek'sai. I've played against it a few times, and I did have a kind of game plan going in, but I didn't have hey, I just know my exact lines, I know the exact issues. But yeah, I didn't really know there. You can kind of see that he's potentially thinking about Ferris. So he puts in 2 Ferris, and against the odds, he takes out 1 Sabotage, and it looked like a punch first as well. Just because, again, I don't have giant units either. So he doesn't really have to worry too much about, 1v1 trades or potentially multiple stacks versus my units that are sitting there. So he opted to take those out, and we're just shuffling up and getting ready into game 2. I will be on the play for this one. I kind of had a line last game where I do lose to Thrill no matter what, and he did have one, which is kind of unfortunate, but I could have maybe forced it out differently and maybe gone in a different way. But, we're learning. We're just cutting runes and cutting decks here. For those of you that don't really cut runes, I will tell you that you can get rune screwed. I've seen it happen to Blake on the right there, and even myself in recent skirmishes where I needed to hit purple and I hit double blue, and it was pretty awful. We didn't cut runes, and now you can kind of see why that can matter. So we are shuffling up. We are getting into our mulligan. It seems like I put back maybe the Blood Rush, I believe, out of the opening hand, and I just have 3 2-drops in my hand. We are playing Arena's Greatest into Emperor Diocese, so really good for Rengar. Just pick up the unit for free. I do not think that that is how the battlefield is intended to be played, but that is how it is done. As weird as it is, we do opt to start with 1 each. I just don't think I put the dice on my Rek'sai just yet, just because we do know, you can miss the trigger. We just opted to just say, yeah, you can just each get a point. So I'm just waiting for Blake to finish what he is going to alter back. I have already done mine. Looks like I did keep the Blood Rush. I have the Daring Poro, the Noxian Sentry. No, I actually don't remember what this card is. Noxian Rearguard, I think is what he is. And maybe we have 2 of them in the hand, actually. Yeah, 2 of them and a Blood Rush. So we have 3 2-drops in our hand and one combat spell for taking battlefields. So we're getting into it, and we drew the Faithful Manufacturer. Not a bad one. So I started with this. I shouldn't have started with this one, only because he is an accelerate unit, and accelerating isn't like bad with the deck, just because you sometimes do need it. We alter in or channel in and get to our 4 runes, and now we've drawn. I think it was another Faithful Manufacturer. Sometimes the angle is a little hard for me to see. So we're going to play a Poro, and then I go into the arenas, and then I did this so that I could play something off the top. And I think I go for the gold. That's why I did this. In case I hit a Hopeful. Why did I recycle? Oh, sorry. I thought I put a rune back. Yeah. So I go for the gold. This forces him to have to play an exact unit to get over this battlefield, which, he will. But at least I get a gold, and I force a card out of his hand that he probably didn't want to have to force right away. So that's kind of good for me in that regard. Only because, as me playing a lot of purple decks, you have to force cards out of your opponent's hand so that you can optimally play around them, because you don't know what's in their hand. If you don't have Sabotages, Ash, or Mind Splitter, you never really know what's in their hand unless, you can read their play, I guess. Like, you have to really think about it. So this forced him to play a card that maybe he didn't want to have to play, or maybe he was going to anyway, and he's going to buff the Grim Apothecary, and then he will probably take my board. That is basically the thought process from it. I do have the Daring in the back to make a trade next turn if he does go in with the Apothecary to clear it, because I will be able to assign 3 damage. So if he does play a unit with the Apothecary, we most likely just trade as much as we can. He does take a little bit of time. We do go into the think tank a little bit here, only because we are practicing for the upcoming skirmishes that were happening, and we're practicing the 2 decks that our 2 buddies are going to be playing. So we do give them some feedback from these games, and we do watch over these games. I just decided to cast over it before, we go past. We are probably going to be changing the list just a little bit. Okay, so he just plays a Rek'sa. He was maybe thinking about accelerating. Oh, he doesn't even buff it. Okay. Maybe he didn't want a free trade. Maybe he didn't want to just... he could have just taken the battlefield, but I think maybe he ultimately forgot the Rengar trigger. That could be the only thing I could have thought of, is that he just forgets the +1 buff, which isn't the, be all end all. I just think that maybe that was the case. So I'm going to go in with the Poro, drop a card, you charge a Slippery, and I'm going to cleave, go to 6. I'll resolve, he'll pass action the showdown, and I will conquer to 3. Yep, and then I will Rek'sai trigger. What do I hit? Factor, Call a Week. Oof, it's really good off the top. I kill the gold. Yep. That was pretty it was pretty devastating for his board, actually. I think he, like I said, we don't play this game as much as, or sorry, these decks, so he probably should have just went into my board with the Apothecary. That could have been a slight mistake, only because, we don't play these decks enough to know that exact line. So maybe that's what he was worried about, was he just didn't know that he could have buffed it or forgot about it. So here I'm going to play a token, but we just, again, don't have the tokens, so I was going to use this buff, but he's just going to draw the recruit. So this puts him on exactly, he has to play Rengar next turn, which then I think I wanted him to, which is why I didn't pick up the Poro, because I have a way to kill the Rengar next turn when he plays it. He has to have exactly Rengar and another unit to not just lose the Rengar when he plays it, unless he goes into the dais and then he picks it up, which I think is the play he's going to go for. It's going to go Rengar into my Poro, rest in peace Poro, and then he has 2 left, so I think he's either going to save it for the thrill, or he's debating on, do I play Rengar there, kill it, pick it up, and then pass? Because then it's now in his hand. Yeah, so he's going to Rengar for sure. I am going to perish. He will conquer to 3. So it is 3 to 3. It's going to give me a thumbs up because I think he's not going to trigger and he passes. So he does have a thrill in his hand, is what my brain is telling me, or he has punch first. But I think I top deck Call a Week here. Yeah. So we after talk about this, and he does have a I don't know why I didn't go get a point first. Oh, right, because of thrill. This forces him to like play the thrill first and not be able to just like get not be able to just to get a free point, because I can't interact with Thrill of the Hunt with Call of the Week when I'm in a battle, when I'm in a showdown. So I go in there for 4 Rek'sai, and we hit Under Titan, and I think I just opt to play the Dredger. Yep, for the 2 mana. And then I think I play the Noxian Rearguard into it. Conquer. I will pay 1 to pick him up. And then I play 2 units in my hand, I believe. We make a Sand Soldier token, just because, again, we don't have any. These Dry Erase ones are really good. If you guys are in the Red Deer area, the Wizards Loft does carry them. They are really good for, LeBlanc decks, making your reflections, things like that. On official streams and things for official UVS for Riftbound, they might not let you use them, but in your, events, you can. So I play the Rek'sai here just so I can get all of my stuff, and I have big swings if he does have a way to get onto the board. Otherwise, I am going to hold to 7. Again, I'm on an odd number because I couldn't conquer twice on turn 2. Turn 3. So now he plays Bryn, and then he's going to Thrill of the Hunt, I believe, onto me. Or he challenge. Yeah, he's just going to snipe the Rek'sai. Because he knows how good that card is. Everyone knows that card's actually really good. So I hold, and then I think I pull everybody back because he's only at 3. So I'm ahead on point tempo for sure. Go to 7. I don't think I should have pulled everyone back, but I also worried that because basically, if I pull everyone back, I should have just developed in the base, but I have no cards in my hand, so I should have just pulled everybody back. I should have just played all the 2 drops and then played the Accelerate Rek'sai next turn, basically. Yeah. Because basically what happens is I'm debating on pulling everyone back, because if I pull everybody back, he can just freely walk in and he can freely take either battlefield he wants. So he can freely pick up the Bryn. So I just play all of my 2s in my hand. And basically in my hand left is a Cleave and double Blood Rush. Or sorry, Cleave and Blood Rush. And I think I should just pull everyone back because I went for this line. So the reason that I think I do. The reason that it kind of sucked to lose that Rek'sai immediately from the challenge is because now what he can do is he can walk in with Bryn onto the Emperor's Dais, and then he can basically pick it up for free, play it again, and then have Thrill for my turn. So I walk into a battlefield with one guy, and then he just plays Thrill of the Hunt onto the Bryn. I can't play any more cards this turn. I can still attack and things. It doesn't immediately end my turn. But basically, it puts him in a point where he can just win the game against me. So he goes to 4. I believe he pays 1 to pick it up. Let's see what he does. Eyeing up, what, 5 is that? 6? He's eyeing up, I think he has 9 runes. Yeah, he's 9 runes, so he's eyeing up his play. So he pays 1. He can pick up he can pay 1, pick up the Bryn. Yeah. He's gonna pay 1. He's gonna pay to pick it up. Okay, so he makes a Sand Soldier. So then I can't freely take this battlefield to get a Rek'sai trigger. It's basically the concept behind it. Plays the Sand Soldier, picks up, and he plays the Bryn there. And then does he play challenge? No. He passes. Yeah, so my thought process is this. He has Thrill of the Hunt in his hand. It's the only thing that saves him. Or double punch first, because he has 4 orange. Which I also didn't think about. But he's at 4, and I'm at 7. So I'm really thinking here. So currently my Infernas would be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and he has 7 at the battlefield. This would be 8 if I go in with the Dredger, which would then give me a unit back. So we're thinking about swinging 8 into the 7. And if things get hairy, I do have Blood Rush and Cleave. Now, the other thing is I forgot, like I said, double punch first also can save him in this line from losing. And he has exactly 4 orange. So you'll see that I was thinking about, okay, if he plays 2 for the Blood Rush, or not Blood Rush, the Thrill of the Hunt, I'm going to Cleave the Sand Soldier in the back. Because if he plays Thrill, he moves the Bryn over to the Arena's Greatest, and I now can't play cards. But he has double punch first. So he punches, targeting the Bryn, going to 12 to my 8. I now think for a second. I needed the Cleave. I'll go double Blood Rush. Target the Inferna to put her to 7. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So the problem now rests on, I didn't think he'd have the second punch first. So I'm over here thinking like, okay, I have, oh, nope. Gives it to Bryn, so Bryn's at 15. Ugh. Yeah, that was a slight mistake. So it really was unfortunate that he had double punch first. I was playing around him having, Thrill of the Hunt. Now he has no orange. He has double punch. We'll go into draw a card. I'm asking him. I'm pretty sure I have to trigger to draw a card first because it's mandatory because I can't score the point, and then I can Rek'sai. So what do I draw? I'm pretty sure it was the Under Titan. Yep. Yeah. So I don't really have a way to win this turn. So I forgot I have 5 here on that guy. So I'm like, do I have a way to kill this Bryn? So we're gonna put the hopeful there for 2. Oh right, I just stacked the base. I just stacked the base because I messed up. But then again, I didn't expect him to have double punch first. But yeah. So I do that, and then I just play the Under Titan there and pass. So my base is currently 5, 10, 14. He has a way to get to 11, which I was like, that's insane. He had a way to get to 11? Oh my god. Yeah, so the power of Rengar is actually really good for how quick the deck can go and how small like the units are. Like, don't get me wrong, Bryn was kind of like a win more, but it was also a 5 might unit that my little, weenies can't beat over quickly. So hindsight is if I just go to that battlefield to conquer to draw, and then I hit the Under Titan, I win. But I also lose to Thrill of the Hunt, which I think would have been better because then I could have just smashed all of my guys into the Bryn anyway. So I kind of chose to lose to double punch first and put him on have the exact answer next turn, which I think is kind of a understatement. I should not ever put in this game, from what I've seen, how I've played, you should never put it on. Your opponent needs to have the answer or you lose. Or sorry, your opponent just can't have the out, because I have seen from time and time again, my opponent always has the out anytime I go to play. So it looks like he scoops it up. He told me later on after we were playing that he had a way to get to 11, but not 14, which I was just like, oh my god, because I think he had a unit. I think he had Rek'sa plus Thrill of the Hunt. Yeah, Rek'sa Thrill of the Hunt's 11. Because you play Rek'sa, give her +1, thrill the Bryn over when you go in with Rek'sa, that's now 11. But that's exactly all his runes because he had to recycle 4 for for double punch first. So we basically just swap battlefields because we both have the same one. From what I can tell, I don't really opt to make any sideboard changes. It just didn't really matter as much, I think, to make any of the changes just because of how the game kind of went. We are both playing very fast decks, so I do need to make sure I get all of my 2-drops out early or 3-drops to just combat his board for point tempo, as well as I really want to see Faithful Manufacturer in the opening, I believe. When you go second, it's just really strong. So here we go to get into game number 3 after we finish the sideboard. Now that we are finishing into the sideboard, we are going to hand the runes and the deck. We're just trying to keep it as like close to real professional as possible. Now, you can see that the video is a little bit longer than most, but we did try to keep it as realistic as possible when you go to events. You do have about an hour to play your game of Riftbound when you actually play. So we tried to keep it a little bit under. I tried to keep it as, time in it, shuffle, thought process as possible. I tried to emulate how people can play as real as we could have, just so you can see the time it takes to shuffle, the time it takes for this. If you find that you're a player who goes to time often, maybe you should really evaluate how many times you shuffle, or how many times you think, or how often you stop, or how often you do, etc. Right? You should. Oh, and also we do make a funny little mistake here. He takes my runes and I take his runes, and we don't notice it till I think turn 3. So you'll notice we swap back by accident. And I forgot I don't play Emperor Diocese. It's Candlelight. I made the joke, I believe, earlier, which is when I pointed to them when I was talking about, I think we just swap battlefields. So I put 2 back and I drew into a Hopeful. Yeah, so you can see here, I couldn't tell because of the glare that it was red and yellow, and he just didn't look down. And I didn't notice that those were orange. So I was just like, oh. And then our buddy who was there watching us play was just like, wait, you have yellow in the deck? And I was like, wait a second. You'll notice it. He's like, wait, those aren't orange. I was like, oh. So we just put them to the bottom. We shuffle them up real quick. And then we just give each other back the runes. It did matter for me because I do have Call the Weak in the hand. So like, if I didn't hit a yellow, I was going to be a little chapped. And I did, thank God. But yeah. So we're both at 1 because of Arena's Greatest. He does have a Thrill and another Inferno in hand. I try to show my hand a little bit more often just because we're trying to get better at filming for these gameplay videos. So I think he's just debating on what he wants to do just for his hand, because he doesn't want me to just get free information with Candlelight and Rek'sai. But he also knows that he doesn't have a way to cleanly keep it alive without playing a unit on my turn. So he triggers the Sanctum and he reveals, oh, I wish we could have seen it. We will try to get better when we do gameplay videos to show the cards or show what we can. We are going to be fixing in the future. We're going to try to get hand cams, maybe face cams. Like I said, it's just the journey of aspiring amateur to hopefully professional player. This is just before the release of Vendetta, so everything will most likely change because of a lot of the new red and yellow cards that you can play and the new orange cards you can play in Rengar. I do think Gangplank is going to be fantastic for orange decks in general. And with the reprint of Rek'sa, a lot of the decks can probably, maybe you can get Kaisas for cheaper. Who really knows? But I do think that both of these decks had a place in the previous Unleashed meta, and they did have a very good, if you were piloting the deck from the start of the season or a little bit into Spirit Forge, I do think you can do very well with Rek'sai. Rengar, is a little bit newer. Sam did pilot it to a 2nd place finish in Vancouver. I don't think a lot of people were ready for it, and I don't think a lot of people knew what it was going to do. However, it is still a very strong deck, as you can see, and I do understand why some people don't have that ability to want to learn a new deck every season. However, I am one of those people that does enjoy new challenges and new theory crafting. So here, as I yap on, it just looks like Blake is really determining on what it is. I'm pretty sure he tells me what they were later on, and he wasn't sure what he wanted to bottom. I think he shows me at the end as well that one was a Thrill of the Hunt and a Punch First, which he wasn't sure which one he wanted to get for his next turn. And I believe how the game plays out, the Thrill of the Hunt was the correct choice. And he was just really thinking about how he alters to get there. So it's just, like I said, this is an emulation of a real scenario. Don't get me wrong, it has probably been a minute game action. So You know, you could ask him to play a little faster if he's not your buddy, in like an actual thing. But you know, we are on Arena's Greatest. We're on one of the two fastest decks in the game. They will definitely not be a 20-minute game, because we started this at, I believe we would have started this when we had 20-ish minutes left, which is a pretty good time for, you know, finishing your game. Now, the only thing that really bothered me was he left 4 runes up. That scared me a lot. I just wasn't sure what he could have. Nidalee. That is the only thing that I can really lose to in this scenario is Nidalee, and I believe I have a Call the Weak in my hand and no other combat like units. So we go to the Arena's Greatest. We pass action in the showdown. He passes. We go to 2. We Rek'sai, and we get a hopeful or a broker. Now, because I was going to go to combat, and you know, sometimes playing Rek'sai, you never know what you're going to hit. So I hit the broker because the hopeful would have been 4. So I go in here and then I pass action. He plays, I think he plays Nidalee on me. Yep. Nidalee, recycle 1, goes to 5. And I'm like, okay, sounds good. He's like, well, it doesn't really matter because if he buffs the other thing, he's at 6, but he's at 6 anyway. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, so I can clear his board. I go 1 for the Ray. I'm going to shoot the Inferna. This was a bad mistake. Very bad. Because I basically traded 2 cards to trade and not get a point. I should have just left his Inferno alive because now he has 5 for Rengar. Should have sent the recruit in to trade with the Inferno. And then, you know, I should have sent the recruit and manufacturer, which would have traded that board. But then you wouldn't have hit the broker. Yep, that's right. But I think I have a hopeful in my hand. So I could have played hopeful in the base, which would have been way better. So it's just kind of really unfortunate that this is now where we're at. I think he plays Rek'sa instead, which is even worse for me. Because Rek'sa just gets to run over the whole, like he gets to run over my recruit. Oh no, he's thinking of the pit rookie. He's really debating. It's like this is where it really comes down to is like these last like few minutes. People are unresilient sometimes where they just slam things and pass. So next turn he has enough for Rek'sa plus pit rookie, which is what I think he was hoping for. And I don't have a way to kill the Rengar. So I think what I do, I go into Conquer, pass action. Oh yeah, I just thought he was going to do something, so I do Candlelight first. I'm thinking if I hit a Falling Star, it would have been way better. So I put 1 on the top, 1 on the bottom, then we Rek'sai, and we get a Broker and a Poro. Probably should have just bought them both. Oh, the reason I bought him to Poro, and I get a Broker. So now I'm going to play Call the Weak. Should have killed the one at the battlefield. This was a big mistake. Because now he just gets to play Rek'sa for free, and I have no way in. Right? Because now I would have Poro's at 3, plus the Broker, which is 5. But now I only have the Poro, and I lose my battlefield again. So this is just the lack of knowledge of knowing how to play the deck. So he has this guy, so now Call the Weeks are always dead. Yeah. And he just sets up a really big board, I think, in the back, which would have mattered because now I don't get the double Conquer, which would have mattered more with Candlelight than getting the... Because now I have to go in with the Poro. You see, this is what I mean by I should have killed the... I should have killed the one in the base, or at the battlefield, because now I hold. So what if I hold? Rek'sai isn't about holding, it's all about breaching. And that is probably the mistake that really solidifies the end of the game. Solidifies the end of the game for me, because now I have to go in with Poro. So I'm at 4 and he's at 3. So he goes to 5. So I can pull off and then pass and do nothing, which is probably bad. So I go Breacher for... all right, I'm thinking about it because he can just... yeah. See, this is the... that's the problem, is I had to go in and then I hit Dredger. How fun. Like, you see what I mean? Is just... it could have been so much better. I could have just bottomed those both. Go in with the guy who gives me a gold. Yeah. I didn't play the Rek'sai here in case he challenges me and just kills the Rek'sai for free because his hopeful is a 5. So his hopeful eats any of my units for free. So I think I valued point tempo over board stability, and that is why I think I lose this game, if I remember correctly. So he just goes in, eats the Poro, goes to 4. Then he's going to shuffle his hand a little. You know, we do that. We're card gamers, always shuffling the hand. I'm going to look at my trash, think of what I can still get. The thing that is the best is he just leaves his sentry there all the time. Yeah, challenge anyway. See, so if I played the Rek'sai, it dies. But then you can say, well, he's going to have challenge anyways. You might as well play the Rek'sai. Yeah, but Rek'sai is so much better if I can get a unit off the top of the deck. Because I play him next turn, like the Rek'sai, obviously. And then whatever I can hit off a Conquer, when I go to the Candlelight, I can just accelerate. And that was where I thought. I was like, well, if I just have the challenge, I just immediately explode. So that's the only downside to my exact line, is sometimes they just have it all. So he goes 5 here. Oh, sorry, 4. Goes for the Rek'sa. And he has 2 up, which we know what the 2 are. It's Thrill of the Hunt. I lose to Thrill of the Hunt at the same amount of times I lose to Ride the Wind. I'm not saying they're anyway related, but yeah, it's pretty good. So now I have a 2 might unit and a 1 might unit and a cleave. So what my options are this. I have cleave, a hopeful in my hand, I believe, and a Noxian sentry, the one that has accelerate. So my thoughts are, I need to trigger Candlelight, but I know he has it's Call the Weak and a cleave. So if I play Call the Weak, we all know who he kills. It's going to be the sentry in the base. And I'm just mathing out. Yep, and he is that for 2. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is I just play Rek'sai Accelerated, which would be 4, and I crack the gold. So it leaves me with 5. So my Rek'sai will immediately swing with 4. But I can't just have it die yet. So I'm going to go in with the Broker to force a trade. Because if I can kill... My thought process is this. He has 1 unit in the base. So if I can trade his whole board away, or get him to have 1 unit, he can only go to 1 battlefield. So then I go in with the Dredger. Pass focus. This is where he contemplates playing the Thrill, because he has 2 cards in his hand. He passed. So I conquer, trigger Candlelight. We're going to remove. I think I bottom both of these because I don't think they are what I need. Yeah, we bottom both. I can't remember exactly what they were. And then we reveal Falling Star. So I know I should have shot the Sentry and the Hopeful, but I don't. And that was the mistake. I could have actually pulled it back from here now that I look at this board, because I know he's Thrill the Hunt in his hand. It just, because we saw it at the start of his start of the game when he opened his 4. I should have shot Rek'sa or not Kaisa. I should have shot the Sentry and once on the Hopeful. Yeah. Thrill picks up Kaisa, drops it on my Dredger. This will score him a 6th point. Goes to 6. Yep. And then I know he's tapped out now, so I'm going to yeah. No matter what, yeah. Now that I see this, that's exactly what I should have done. I was debating on giving the bird accelerate. That was foolish. Huh. If I shoot the Sentry and shoot the Hopeful, I actually have a way in. Because then he picks up the Hopeful. He has Kaisa in the base. I swing the Rek'sai in to trade. No, Rek'sai trades over it. I still get the bird. Because he still might play Thrill the Hunt, right? Oh, no. I could have won there? Oh, that's crazy, guys. Yeah, so always take your time even when you come close to the end of the game. Because basically, if I shoot the Hopeful... Yeah. If I shoot the Hopeful, he might pick it up with Thrill, and I shoot the Sentry in the base. I go to 7. I play Call the Weak anyway. He kills the Sentry, puts him on exactly 2 cards. He needs exactly a Thrill the Hunt. And he picked one up off the Kaisa draw, which was kind of insane. There it is. Thrill the Hunt is in. Hold 7, Thrill's on me. And yeah, so basically it just goes to show that if you just wait a little bit of time, you have a way in. So thanks so much, guys, for watching. I hope you enjoyed this gameplay video. We'll have more coming out.